talk to our almost chauffeur. Okay, good morning. Uh, Mincha today will be at 7:30. Tomorrow morning we're davening at 6, 6:50, and 7:50. Now for a quick Devar Torah. Uh, Even though we lost our minyan, but at least we can have a Devar Torah. Uh, this week's parsha starts off, of course, with the whole issue of the woman who's taken captive by somebody. Basically what we'd call today a war bride. And as many of you know, during World War II, there were many war brides coming over from Europe that the American soldiers basically met a young lady and brought her over. Uh, Now, the Torah says, okay, you're in combat, you have a lot of your feelings, your emotions are raw, and you see a good looking woman, uh, you can take her, but there are rules. The rules are she has to have time to mourn her family. We're assuming that maybe she was married and her husband was killed in battle. Her parents may have died in the battle. These are things that we have to consider. And so she has to be left alone to do her mourning for a month. Um, and then if you still want her after that, then okay, you can have her. And then the Torah goes to the issue of the son who, a man has two wives, one loved and one hated. Uh, and that he has to treat, and if the hated wife had the first son, then he has the rights of Bechor, of a firstborn, which means he gets double the inheritance, etc. Even though the fellow hated his mother. This is a very important issue because it leads to the next part in the Torah, which is, of course, the son the rebellious son. And you should know, by the way, the rules of killing the rebellious son are so strict that the Gemara says it never happened. The laws are there, but we've made the rules so strict. And the important innovation here, by the way, isn't that the rebellious son is killed, but it has to go through the courts. A parent doesn't have the right to kill his children, which to us sounds normal. In the ancient world, a parent did have the right to kill their children, if they so desired, without any court intervening. Here you had to prove there's a reason why you want to do this. But notice the progression. The woman taken captive. We have a minyan now. The woman taken captive by in the time of war, the hated wife, and then the rebellious son. The son becomes rebellious because he sees his father hates his mother. He says something's wrong here. So the important thing here is, even if you don't get along with your wife, say there are issues, and in every marriage, by the way, those who have been married for a while will tell you there are always issues. You're not going to agree with your wife 100% on every little detail, but because you're two separate individuals. But you can't let the little issues get in the way. You can't hate your wife because that'll lead to your children rebelling against you, because they'll see you arguing and fighting, and that'll lead to, they'll say, well, what do I need these people for? So the Torah is basically saying, if you're going to marry somebody, make sure it's the right person. And even if you think it was a mistake, you correct it. You correct it by behaving in the right way, and she'll correct it by her behaving in the right way. It's a two-way street. But if you treat, it's the old story, a man wants his wife to die. So he davens. He says to his Rebbe, I want my wife to die. So he says, well, if you want that to happen, you have to donate a lot of money to yeshiva. So he builds a yeshiva. And then, over the time, she gets sick. And he says, oh, my wife, she's sick. I don't know what to do. So he said, well, this is what you've been davening for. Daven that you should get better. You know, in other words, his behavior was, he, he realized at a certain point that, you know what, I really do like this woman. So, and by the way, for the single guys here, remember, more than you should love your wife, you should like her. You should enjoy just being with her. Just something to think about. And we do have a minion, so Ali Carter's Rabbanim.